coming tomorrow, Rahul Srivastav?
What I will say, Rahul, is that there are several stages of work on several packages. Now, one hint which came to me during the press conference is there is a possibility that tomorrow late evening or tomorrow day after early morning, there could well be another tranche coming. Right now, no clarity on what it could be.
Now, remember, there are two guns that are firing at this time. One is what the finance minister just announced. The other is what the Reserve Bank of India has already done and can potentially do as an enabler going forward. And for a sense of what the RBI's options are and what to make of this package, I am joined at this time by eminent economist, former governor of the Reserve Bank of India, D. Subbarao. Mr. Subbarao, welcome. It's a pleasure and a delight and honor to have you with us. I want to start by asking you, sir, what you make of the package that the finance minister just announced, largely targeted at the micro, small and medium enterprises. The concern was that many of these companies may go under. On the back of the finance minister's announcements, do you think that many of them will be left standing at the end of this pandemic?
Yes, the short answer to your question is yes. It's disappointing, though, that the finance minister has not given the details, the big picture of the 20 trillion package. We now know that there's a lot of packaging in this package. But even if you strip away all the packaging, even if you take away all the non-expenditure items, I think there is still considerable stimulus in this, and today's is just one part of the big stimulus package. So I believe that this, together with all the reforms that are to follow over the next few days and which will be implemented over the next several months, I think will stimulate the economy and help us get into a V-shaped recovery. A V-shaped recovery was quite possible, quite probable. It will become even more probable now.
Now, I have a few questions for you, sir. One is,
yes,
the push now is for Atmanirbhar Bharat, which is kind of what Make in India always was. What's the difference, this thrust now towards self-reliance and the push for Make in India? In principle, they seem the same. How are you processing this?
Well, I didn't think through it like you asked, but the self-reliant India does not necessarily mean putting up protectionist walls and producing behind that. We left that in 1991. I hope we will not bring it back. The way I understand our Nirbhar India, self-reliant India, is that we will produce for domestic consumption, but we will also continue to export so that our exports will increase and equal imports, so that on the current account, we are more or less balanced.
So, but as far as exports are concerned, the same wave of economic nationalism that's playing out in India is playing out globally, and walls are being built, trade walls, tariff walls, and therefore, it's a mirror of what's happening in India. Then how do you increase your exports, which in any case were distressed, even building up to this pandemic?
Well, we have to increase our exports the same way we've been trying to do for the last 25 years. In particular, I recall that the Prime Minister yesterday mentioned about global supply chains. And I think this is an opportunity for India to occupy the space that's being vacated by China by implementing all the reforms that were talked about yesterday, that we've been talking about for several years: land, labor, agriculture.
Is this the right time to push through some of those reforms? Because people would say labor is already distressed. And therefore, if you remove whatever semblance of security they had, is that the right way to go? And there would be others who would say, even if you do it at this time and make it easier to acquire land for fresh investments, how many greenfield projects are going to come for people wanting to make those investments?
Well, these reforms are not one-shot reforms, okay? They're going to take time. They've got to be phased out over several months, perhaps several years. So I don't think that is this the right time is a relevant question. This is the right time, certainly, to make a commitment. This is certainly the right time to make a statement so that the markets understand where we are headed. And this is the right time to inspire the confidence of potential domestic and foreign investors. But implementation of the reforms themselves will take a long time. What's important, apart from declaring the intent of the reforms, is over the next month, perhaps, for the government to come out with the contents of the reform and the timetable and the deliverables, so that their performance on the reforms can be evaluated against those deliverables, against those milestones. I believe that's very, very important to continue to retain the confidence of the markets and to inspire the confidence of potential investors.